What is going on, Sabres fans, and welcome to another episode of the Sabres Spotlight podcast where we shine a light on all things Sabres hockey. Ryan, what's going on?
What up, everyone? Not a whole lot, man. I mean, just working. It's negative, 5 to, positive 6 degrees out every day, and I hate it. And that's really all that's on in my head right now is the fact that it's cold.
Yeah, I got in my car to get to work this morning. It was 7 degrees.
Yeah, and so the feel, like the real feel, like the how it's like, oh, it's this degrees, but like it really is this degrees, dude. It was minus 9 this morning, like with the wind. It's just
That's crazy.
ridiculous.
That's crazy. I was out shoveling actually not too long ago. I had, well, as you know, I had a snowblower malfunction. Well, not a malfunction. I'm a dumbass and I put old ass gas in it, and
Dude, okay, you guys,
it didn't start up.
this guy got a snowblower and had it for like one season and accidentally put gas in there that was like 2 to 3 years old. And then had his dad try to help him fix the snowblower multiple times. And then I come over his house. This was during the week of the last Bills game.
Yeah, this
Uh,
was it was right before the Bills
yeah, right before the game, I come over and your dad's, being a great dad. He's looking at your snowblower, taking it
doing his dad
apart,
stuff.
and I just go, "Do you think there's old gas in there?" And your dad said, "Don't say that." He said,
Oh,
"Don't."
he
You,
already knew. He already knew. So this lawnmower, we might as well just get
snowblower.
into this real quick. So this or not this lawnmower, this yeah, this snowblower is a year old. I bought this thing. It's not. I've used this thing twice, right? So it is my own fault because I don't know what I'm doing. And my dad told me when I put it away in the spring, make sure you take the gas out. And I remember putting this thing away in my shed, and I said that to myself, and then I was like, nah, it'll be fine. So
Yep.
I just put it away. Come out mid-November because I'm like want to get it started early before the season gets too bad, and I'm stuck without a snowblower. It doesn't it doesn't start up, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? So my dad came down initially and looked at it, and he's like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't think he wanted to take it apart right away. So he's like, all right, just call him and ask about the warranty. So I figured all that shit out, and the guy's like, all right, if it's bad gas or a clogged uh, drain or whatever, or a clogged duct, you can't it won't be covered under warranty. So my dad's like, any dad would be like, nah, 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 nah. I'm saving my kids some money. I'm gonna come over and take this fucking thing apart with my bare hands. So he
You,
comes over. so
multiple
he
times, I feel like.
so he comes over, he takes it off, empties out the gas, and I'm like, you know what, Dad? I gotta tell you, that gas is like 2 years old. I got it at the res a couple years back. And he's like, he looks at me, he's just like, don't tell me that,
Yeah.
Matt.
He said, "Don't say that." He said, "Do not." He looked at you. He looked at me. He's like, "Don't even say that because that's the simplest solution." And that is so funny. Like your dad, you were telling me that your dad changed the spark plug on it, all sorts of shit on it, and it turned out that you just had old gas in there.
So we got some new gas in there. This thing rev right up.
And it
I
rips
was
through,
just,
right? Like it rips. Isn't it like snowblowing is one of my favorite things. I know,
it
like
is great.
obviously,
It is great.
like snow sucks. I love snowblowing. I think it's so satisfying.
I
And
don't have a big driveway either, so it doesn't take
no,
long, but it was nice to have it back, just ripping through the snow.
yep,
I mean,
yep.
it's not like a beast by any means. Like it's not like it's not one of these big boys, these big
No,
Cub
it's a nice
cadets
one
or
though. You got a
whatever.
nice
But
looking snowblower. But
yeah,
I'm glad that you're not like breaking your back shoveling anymore because a snowblower is like a necessity if you live here, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, for sure. So that's working now. But going back to your original point, yeah, it's been super cold out. I don't know how you're surviving at work with.
I don't know either. Honestly, I was miserable today, and they pulled us off the street. Like this is like the first time this has happened, but they're like it's gonna get too cold at dark because obviously, like 9 degrees in the daylight in the sun is a different thing than like 9 degrees at dark.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, everyone has to come back by 5 because it's gonna get like too cold. And I'm like, holy shit! Like the post office is being like pragmatic and like taking our safety into concern. Like I was like actually shocked. So that was pretty cool. I thought I was gonna have a miserable day. It wasn't that bad. And then they pulled us off the street early, so I got to go home like probably almost 2 hours before I thought I was going to. So that was pretty good.
I know we didn't even think we were going to record today. I get a call from you, which doesn't happen very often. We're
Yeah.
very much like I mean, I'll call you more than you call me,
Yep.
and just tell
You're a
you random
caller.
shit. And I'll tell you random shit. But you're like, and I looked. I'm like, Ryan's calling me. I'm like, this must be important. This got to be something. You're like, dude, we're hopping on the mic tonight. I'm ready. I was like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked. I'm happy to be on here right now. Not that like we couldn't have done it tomorrow, but I was just so hyped to just be like, all right, my day was pretty good, and I want to come on here and talk some puck and talk to my buddy.
It's been it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun with the Four Nations tournament going on. So I think we'll start there, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's the
It's been
main
awesome.
reason we wanted to hop on because we talked about this leading up to it a couple times, and we were both kind of like, I had to go back and listen, but I feel like I was maybe a little bit more excited. I think you were
Hmm.
maybe a little bit more skeptical of
I
just
was
kind of like,
scared.
yeah, our guy's gonna care or whatnot. And boy, oh boy, did they care.
Yeah, they got like the caring thing was disproven, like or like proven that they were gonna like take it seriously from opening puck drop Wednesday night with Canada and Sweden. Like I was shocked. Like they were forechecking. A couple Canadian, I don't remember who it was like a week ago. A couple Canadian guys like laid a couple guys out, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
this is a real tournament. Like they're actually, and I get it because if you think about it, like some of these guys, like they haven't played a best on best, you know, matchup for your country. Like what things change when you throw like, you throw the leaf over your head, or you throw like the three crowns over your head, or the American flag over your head. Like your mentality just changes. And these
yeah,
guys
for
haven't
sure.
done that since the World Juniors, since they were like under 20 years old. And I'm like, okay, this shit is for real, and it's been so much fun, man. It is so good for hockey, for like growing the game. I'm just excited for everything that's happening in the hockey world right now.
Yeah, it's been cool because you've seen the intensity and the players are obviously caring quite a bit. We'll get to Canada and USA predictions and stuff like that. We'll talk about the game kind of coming up in a little bit. I think I want to start with the Sabres that have been there. Like we watched a couple games obviously from the Swedes and a couple games from Finland. There's only a few Sabres there. UPL, I don't think UPL got any
He
net
didn't even
time, right?
dress.
Yeah. So he didn't play. I didn't catch Finland's last game against Canada because I was working, and that was like a weird midday game as opposed to later. But Yoki Haru obviously scores a goal. I think
So funny.
the first goal for Finland, right?
Yeah,
In
it
the
was.
tournament,
Yep.
and then Darlene gets a goal too. But what were your thoughts on maybe some thoughts on Darlene, some thoughts on Yoki Haru
Uh,
representing the Sabres?
the Finland team. Like, let's start with Finland because they're like shorter. Like I want to talk about Deline a little bit more because he's awesome. But I felt bad for Finland because I like their forward group like a lot. Like they're all super gritty, like good two-way forwards, and then they have like high-end talent like Rantanen and stuff. But the defense, dude, was just decimated. Like Yoki Haru didn't even get called up to the team until they were down like seven guys. Like, I'm exaggerating. It wasn't seven, but like they're missing. No Miro Heiskanen was crazy for them. Um, they were just missing so many guys. I mean, they had this kid I never heard of, Monpalo, 13 career games for Ottawa, and he was on the team. Like they were just really hurting. And I got to be honest with you,
It is
dude.
tough because it's NHL only players, so
Yeah,
like
yeah, they couldn't really pull from like the Finnish league or anything like that.
yeah.
But dude, Yoki Haru kind of like held his own. It was pretty nice to see he wasn't like drowning out there like he does
Yeah,
for the
boost that
Sabres.
trade
So
stock up, Yoki.
exactly, like it wasn't too bad. I'm pretty proud of him, and I know that they didn't they played their best and didn't make it to the final, but I liked Yoki Aryu's game, and I don't often say that.
Well, if he's surrounded by a lot of, I mean, I know they were hurting, but you're still playing for your country and you got talent there. I think
Yeah.
the Sabres are, it's the thing with that is the Finns have a very specific way they want to play, right? So there's structure there, and so that type of environment is something that, like, a guy like Yoki Haru, who's not going to set the world on fire with a bunch of his skill and things, can thrive and be, less of a liability in a situation like that, where if he just has to kind of function to like do like the basic responsibilities of a defenseman, like he could do that, he could be serviceable there. But you throw him in like the Sabres organization where it's like dysfunction and disarray left and right, like the guy's just gonna struggle. but
Uh,
but yeah, that was the Finns. I know they obviously finished in last, but every single game they were in every single game. So
the game that you missed, they were down 4-1 with a couple minutes left, and they made it 4-3.
I know I saw that it was the
Yeah.
the final was 5-3,
Yep.
and then in the first game they went to overtime too, right? Or
Yep.
no, 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 no. Oh yeah, I think they went to the
They did.
overtime.
No, that their first game they played, they got slapped by us.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And the
okay.
second game, they pushed Sweden to overtime
Yeah,
and
okay.
won. Actually, they beat them in overtime.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
So
that
and then
game
they
was
lost.
crazy. That game was
Yeah.
back and forth. There
Yeah.
was like four lean changes in that game. That's right.
And then they lost their last one to Canada on Monday. But
Yeah.
so let's talk about Dahlin now. I'm so disappointed in the Swedish coaching because I know this is a Sabres podcast and we're obviously like biased towards our players. But, even just searching, you know, like Reddit, like searching like the game threads for like people talking about the game, or like even just like Twitter in general, everyone was saying that why isn't Rasmus Dahlin playing more? Like
Yeah.
why isn't he get the first game he got
Who's
I
the
think
Swedish
like
coach?
some guy in Sweden.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like an NHL guy. It was like some coach in the Swedish league. But he played 2 seconds more than Brodin, who played the least amount in the first game. And then the second game, he played like I think the second most minutes, but barely any power play time, and he didn't get a shift in overtime like at all. And then
Yeah, the overtime thing is crazy.
the third game, he played I think the fourth most amount and didn't get another shift in overtime. And it's like, dude, what are we doing here? He was paying Sabres tax.
Do you think that's what it was? I guess I was going to ask why you think it is. I don't know if the Swedes have like some like hierarchy thing where it's like you have to, like, he's one of the younger guys and he has to kind of pay his dues, or if it's more of, you know uh, he hasn't been around as long as some of those
He
other
hasn't
guys. I don't know.
played. This was the most meaningful hockey he's played. If you really think about it, like the most meaningful hockey he's played in 6 years.
I mean, I
I
can
get it.
appreciate,
I
like,
get it from that standpoint, but he was making a difference every shift.
yeah, he didn't seem like it was in over his head. I think that's the thing I was most excited to see, like, from Dahlin, because he obviously hasn't played any playoff hockey,
Right.
and this is one of those. I mean, the environments were crazy, so he got a taste of what that's going to look like, and then some, because the crowds were great, and the intensity was really really ratcheted up. So that's nice for him to see. I wonder if I feel like I can appreciate the over or the willingness to maybe sit him a little bit more during the game, if you're just wondering about. I mean, he does do some things once in a while that we even shake our heads at, and so I can see them being a little bit more skeptical, like give him big minutes if they feel like they have just other reliable options, and maybe the coaching is a little bit more old school, I guess, with some of their thought processes there. But the misuse in overtime is crazy, because when you get, it was the same rules as NHL 3-on-3. So when you get
Yep.
all that open ice, like, that's where you need a playmaker like Dahlin out on the ice.
They played, I think, in the first one, the first overtime they lost against Finland. They played 3 shifts of Hedman, who I gotta tell you, I know that Victor Hedman is still good, but I did not like him like at all in this tournament. Like I think he overextended his shifts and he kind of just didn't look great. And that was the guy that they like leaned on like the whole tournament. Like he played like half the game, like in all the games. But they gave Hedman a couple shifts in overtime. They gave Forsling a couple shifts in overtime, and they gave Carlson, a shift in overtime and got scored on. And it's like Dahlin doesn't touch the ice like a single time. Like it's insane. I don't know what they were doing, but I thought he had a good tournament. Really, I
Yeah,
thought he
he
was.
scored a goal, right? Yeah, he had the one
Yeah.
goal, I think,
Yep.
and
Yep.
a nice little, for all the people that say we don't go to the front of that net. There you go. He was
Yeah.
right in
There he
front of the
is.
net, just tapped it in.
And I thought he was good. Just like in general, McDavid gave him a cross check and he like swatted him like a fly.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. Which that was a cool play because you can. What I sometimes what I don't like is if I don't. McDavid doesn't really do this a lot, but because I think he understands the game, but McDavid did give him the cross check first,
Yeah,
so like,
he did.
but when Darlene gave it back and laid him out pretty good, it's not like he got up and like got down. He just continued the play. It's kind of like yeah, I deserve that, kind of like I did give him a cheap shot type thing.
Right.
Like
If that happens in like an NHL game, four other guys are swarming Darlene and like putting
oh
him in a
yeah.
chokehold.
Or if it was Sid the Kid, he's gonna be running to his buddies to get him to beat Darlene up, So like,
But no, I liked his game, and I wish he just got used like more or like better. I do kind of like I've been watching him like he's my son, you know, like every shift he's out there, I'm like, oh, he's out there, like I want to see, if he's gonna do something with the puck or if he's gonna make a nice defensive play. And I will say that it like kind of makes me proud that the like larger hockey world is like, wow, this guy's really good and should have played more.
yeah, it is. There is a pride thing to that. I mean, I literally tuned into those games, the games that Sweden were playing when it wasn't the U.S. because I wanted to see him, right? And even Yoki Haru, to a degree. Like
Yeah,
I know we give Yoki Haru shit and things, but like at the end of the day, I mean, these guys are regular people, So I mean, he's playing for his country. That's a big thing for them, and I want to see all those guys succeed. And
yeah, that's
and
called crest loyalty.
yeah,
We're loyal to the crest.
yeah, we're loyal to the goat head.
Yeah, the superior crest.
Yes. All right, so let's get into. I think that pretty much is good for the Sabres. Let's talk about USA Canada, man. What
Oh
did you
man.
What did you think about Game 1 before we get into what we're potentially going to see on Thursday?
So, you know how like in a lot of aspects of life, I know that this might be like a pessimistic thing I'm saying, but like things get built up. Like there's anticipation, and sometimes the anticipation for something kills you, and it's like I can't wait for this one. I can't wait for this thing. It's going to be like electric. It's going to be just everything. And then to have it be exceeded is just the coolest thing. Like the environment, like obviously there's political bullshit going on with like, Canada and Trump and they're fucking beefing and all this shit. And like Canada has their reasons for booing the anthem and everything. But I will say that like kind of added to the rivalry.
Oh, it
Like
100%
I
did.
think it's
Yeah.
kind of sick. Like I think being an American, it's like I understand it, but also if I was an American player, I'd be like, I want to fucking run these guys through the wall.
Yeah.
Don't
It was the
disrespect my
perfect
anthem.
mix. It's the
Don't
perfect mix.
disrespect my fucking anthem. Like that's what I would be saying if I was on the bench. So
Yeah.
that happens, and like it's just it's the Bell Center, it's Montreal, it's the most like historic hockey building or hockey market on the planet. It's loud. It's Team Canada versus Team USA for the first time in almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And we get battles right off the start, dude.
Oh, dude.
That was shocking to me
It was great.
in
It
the
was great.
best way.
It
I
was
was screaming.
100%. It was 100% incited just like from the booing. Like I
Yeah,
bet they because
I don't know.
I'm sure they talked about it before and be like, listen, like because it's been happening before
Yeah,
this.
in Canada
Like
for like I think Trump probably made those comments like since he's been in office like a month ago
yeah,
that like all the 51st state shit. So like this
yeah.
has been going on in Canada for like at least a month.
Well, yeah, and there's been boos at NHL games like for
Yeah.
the past. So the guys know this has been going on. So I'm sure they talked ahead of time, and it sounds like the Kachucks did, where they're like, listen, like if this happens here, like we're just gonna throw down because we got the USA on our sweaters, and that's what happened. It was iconic.
Yeah. I love it, dude. I kind of also love that like since you're not Jeff Merrick made this point and it's so true, I got to say. You're not going to see this shit at the Olympics. Like this is a purely like because this was an NHL event, the
Yeah,
Olympics don't allow fighting. If you fight
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Olympics, you're
yeah.
done.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So, but since it's an NHL event with NHL rules, fighting is totally fine.
Yeah,
So, dude, the fact that they were put it in the group chat between like both Kachuk brothers, who honestly put them in the Hall of Fame like now, and JT Miller, and they're like, we're just gonna fucking go in there and start throwing punches. Dude, that's insane. It's insane. And that's like the one thing that we have that Canada doesn't, is like the Kachucks and even Miller himself, and then, a couple other guys on our team. Like, it's not like we have goons on our team. Like, our best players are also capable of like beating you up.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Which is so great. I would have just, I would have just loved to see them like they're like standing next to each other. I don't know if this would happen, but I picture this in my head. They're standing next to each other, and all of a sudden they hear the boos, and they just give each other that look. They just
Dude,
nudge each other.
okay. So that's funny that you say that. So Matthew is mic'd up.
Oh, was
That's
he?
the whole thing. So and they released the video of it. So he does his thing. He gets into his fight, and then he's in the penalty box, and Brady gets into his fight, and they were acting like they were like 7 years old, dude. It was so funny. They're in the box, and Matthew goes, "How was my fight? How was my fight?" And Brady's like, "Oh, it was unbelievable. How did I do?" They were just like going back and forth with each other, just like that's just two legendary guys right there, like asking each other, like, "Oh, how did I do? That was so much fun." Like, oh, that's what hockey's all about.
It was so awesome. It was so awesome. I saw so many good tweets after, like, put the Kachucks on like national currency, like right
Oh my
now
god,
and stuff.
put him on the dollar.
But it was a great way to start it. So 3 fights in 9 seconds,
Yeah, I kind of
which
think
is
JT
crazy.
Miller got pumped. To be honest with you, like
He was
Pareko,
just throwing haymakers like
he
he
punched
didn't know
himself.
where.
He punched himself in the face.
So that's
So,
so who did the first fight was Matt Kachuk
Matthew
and
and Hagel maybe,
okay.
right?
Yeah,
And then
I can't remember the Canadian guys, but I know it was Matt, then Brady, and then
Miller, yeah.
Miller fought Pareko. I know,
Yeah,
and then
which was like, damn, dude, you're really biting off a lot there, and he kind of
Pareko's
got
a big
into it.
dude.
But still, it was so fun. And then after that, I thought the game was great. Like it was super high skilled. Like the
The first
U.S.
period was nuts.
the U.S. defensively, that was a masterclass. I mean, Charlie McAvoy, who's not going to play tomorrow or
I
on
know,
Thursday,
I know.
which sucks, hammered McDavid. Like McDavid scores that goal and walks McAvoy. I mean, McDavid is the best player in the world. I think might be the best player to ever play. Like I think you can positively like say that like right now. He picks up the puck. He's going 600 miles an hour. Scores. Bell Center's going
I think they
crazy.
clocked him at like 23, like those
Unbelievable.
NHL edge stats.
Unbelievable. That's so fast. Like I oh, and then he comes on, and then like a couple shifts later, he's going down, and McAvoy lines him up. I've never seen McDavid get lined up like that
Yeah,
before.
yeah, they were hitting him, man,
Yeah, they
because
were.
that was the only line for them that was really doing damage. So you try and get in his head. I mean, he's the best player in the world. I mean, it's a credit to him. They're only going after you because they know they got to try and rattle you. Some
Yep.
ways. So it's smart by the U.S. to do that. But yeah, that was the line that was doing the work. What were you thinking after the McDavid goal when they go down 1-0?
I wasn't even worried. I
I know
truly
because
wasn't.
there's so much skill on the U.S. side.
And because like the environment itself, like the way we were going after them physically, I thought we could wear them down. And I don't like Canada's defense like all that much.
Yeah,
Um, so I thought
I
we could, I thought we really could just like dump the puck in, put bodies on bodies, and like start to cycle. And we kind of did that. Like we definitely like overmatched them, like on the walls and stuff.
we have a huge advantage with Hellebuck too over
Yeah,
Team Canada.
agreed.
That's why I wasn't.
Bennington is
That's why I
trash.
wasn't. Yeah, that's why I wasn't super worried because I'm just thinking to myself like I know Hellebuck gets a little bit of criticism because it's not like Winnipeg's made like deep playoff runs and things like that with him.
Yep. And
But
he hasn't really played well in the playoffs either. Like
right,
I don't you think that Hellebuck kind of has like the most pressure on him out of anyone because
probably, yeah.
he kind of like wilts in these kind of situations, but
Well,
like you said,
didn't
he's
they
been
get
good.
beat by didn't my Canucks beat them last year in the
Yeah.
playoffs? The
Yep.
Nucks took them out, and they had a good year, and they were shooting the puck good, but he didn't play good in that series when they played each other last year, and so yeah, he's definitely got some pressure on him. But it was nice to see him. I mean, McDavid's McDavid, and he did some magic shit on that play,
It
But
was
like
so, it was
after
so
that,
cool.
Hellebuck was very solid in that. Was not given up. He made a couple, big saves, which is good. Bennington actually made some nice saves too. There was really good saves on both sides, but the second goal for the U.S. that put him up 2-1, the Larkin goal was kind of a. I just wonder if he maybe wanted that one back. That's it was like a 2-on-1, but it's one afterwards. It was a nice shot by Larkin, but you're just thinking to yourself like, man, maybe that's one he wanted back, and that's kind of the difference between like Hellebuck didn't let that in and Binnington did. I think that's a big
Yep.
advantage for the U.S.
Yeah, I agree. Our defense, like as a whole, it was shocking to me to kind of like you were right. Like McDavid, um, was his line was like the only line doing anything, and then the Stone Crosby McKinnon line was doing nothing
Yeah,
to the
McKinnon
point
didn't do anything.
where they put McDavid, Crosby, and McKinnon together, or McDavid, Crosby, and McKinnon together to try to like do something. And you know how usually when Nathan McKinnon has the puck and he stops and he scans and looks for a guy and he's gonna find a guy wide open, that was not happening against
Hmm.
us. Like our defense was so good in the zone that like McDavid even would stop and pop at like the top of the circle and scan and try to find like the open guy. And they were like, well, no one's open, got to throw it in the corner.
Yeah,
And it was like we would outmuscle them and break the puck out, and that was it for the offense that they were generating. So it was just like a clinic.
it was, and that was Sid the Kid's first loss, by the way,
Yeah.
first
In
international
20,
loss.
how long? 26 games?
26 for 26. Yeah, now he's 26 and
That's
one. But
insane.
the one thing that was crazy to me was I didn't know how that it was going to translate to. I mean, these guys have been playing with their teams all year, and I was like, all right, like what's the timing going to be like? Like what's the synchronicity of these players going to be like? And there was like, they're just like, it wasn't an issue. Like these guys were just like on the same page, and both teams were just flying around. It was crazy to see. I've never seen hockey that fast, and you watch playoff hockey, and I'm watching this game, and I'm like, this looks like a totally different league.
Yeah. And, dude, how do you think it was so funny? Someone made this point. Like, how do like the shitters on NHL teams, like the third and fourth liners, watching this? They're probably like, holy fuck! Like we could
I
never,
know, I
you
know.
know, they're in the NHL.
It is crazy. We talked about Bedard because I brought that up to you, and we can touch on a couple things here because I want to talk about Bedard and Faber real quick, and then Makar, because Makar didn't play in this game, and I feel like
Yep.
that's something we should talk about too. But Bedard was. I texted you. I was like, I know he's young, but obviously there's skill there. And you were like, he's nowhere near ready for this. And I'm like, I agree with that because of the
Yeah.
intensity and things like that. And he does still have some immaturity in his game. But then you look at a guy like Brock Faber, drafted in the same year, and he's out there playing excellent
He playing
and
awesome D for us.
playing awesome deep, but also like he is quick with his decisions, man. Like
Yeah.
what he does is what I want Power to do because like
Yeah.
I get you're playing with these guys, but like he there was many times where I'm watching him, retrieve a puck or stop a guy, bringing it through the neutral zone, and then he's pushing it right up the puck, like knows where his outlet is, knows where he's going. Like there, it was so fast, where I was impressed in that game specifically because of the speed that it was played at. I'm like, it was I was impressed with him for sure.
You know who has also been really impressive for the U.S. is Zach Werenski.
Morensky's been
He,
solid.
he's so good. I'm happy for him because he's had injury problems. I think he missed a lot of last year. He maybe even the whole season.
He was a
And
little banged up coming into this too. I think he missed a couple weeks like heading
so
into this tournament.
he has been just a rock for us. Like our whole defense is just so good.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss McAvoy on Thursday, but that's okay. I think we're good enough to overcome.
So we'll talk about that game in a second there, but what do you think about? Oh, we can get there now. Kind of projections for this next game, but Makar, is he going to be back for this game?
He is, and that scares me because you know I think Canada's going to try to go more. They were trying to force stuff into the middle against us, and obviously, like that was not happening.
Yeah,
But they don't really have anyone that they can pass to, like Morrissey, and that was it. Maybe on Tuesday, where like they could, or on whatever we on Saturday, where they could go from low to high, and the defenseman could like make a play with it, and create some offense.
Yeah.
Makar is obviously that guy that can do that. So that was a huge loss for them. So if like nothing's working, they can always just like give it to Makar at the point, and he can like make a guy miss. So I mean, I am a little afraid. I think like having him in the lineup makes Canada probably 5 times better.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it can obviously make McKinnon more effective
Mhm.
if Makar's in there, just with some of their chemistry. So I think he just missed a game because of an illness. Like I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
was
it was.
sick. A lot of guys
Yeah,
at this tournament are sick. It's actually like a whole thing has like been spreading. I saw that today a couple Swedish guys like said that they were sick like the whole week. So
yeah.
something is like going around.
So Makar's coming back for this game. That's going to be something they have to plan for. But if you put Makar in the last game against us, I still think the U.S. comes out on top. So, but it's obviously a lot closer. These two teams are just very, very evenly matched. So Thursday night's going to be a lot of fun there. What? Give me an X factor. What do you think is going to like? Either it could be a player, it could be position. Like, what do you think could be the difference either way for this in this matchup?
Heck, I got one for both teams.
All right, you
Uh,
want give me Canada first.
Nathan McKinnon. If Nathan McKinnon plays like Nathan McKinnon, we're in trouble
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because he was quiet, like you said on Saturday. He was quiet, and if he gets that gear going and starts backing off our defenders and stuff coming through the neutral zone, I think it might be a long night for us because
Plus, you got to think he's motivated, knowing that
yeah,
he didn't have the best game the last time he
yep,
played us.
and the inverse of us playing in Canada with the booing and like being like the away team, Canada's going to have that now.
Yep.
Being
Yep.
in Boston, they're the away team. They're going to have that us against the world mentality. So, McKinnon's my X factor, and then for the U.S., I'm going to say Jack Eichel, dude. This is not the Jack Eichel that we had on the Buffalo Sabres.
I
This
know.
guy's insane. This guy is a top 3 player in the world.
Yeah, he sadly has been looking really really good.
He's defense, dude. When the fuck did he start playing defense?
He had so many good back checks, and then even the assist on the first goal
Oh,
against
to the
Canada
Brady
was
Kachuk
great.
goal.
Yeah, just like the way he kind of like held it for a second and then just kind of like flipped it over. It's just man, I just like there's two things that watching this tournament has like really like kind of aggravated me. Like the fact that Eichel is as good as he is because I can't stand the guy,
Yeah,
obviously, but also the fact that we did not get Connor McDavid. Like,
I
oh my god.
know. Watching McDavid play is like it's like watching the most beautiful like symphony you've ever seen in your entire life. Like
I know.
it could bring you to tears.
It's like watching a baby bird be born out of an egg. Like
You're just
this
overcome with emotion watching him play.
yeah, exactly. But so I mean that's a good X factor, man. He has been playing good. I'm gonna go with another Jack and say Jack Hughes. I think
Okay,
Jack Hughes
he's been
has
quiet.
looked yeah, but I think he's looked really good. Like
Me too.
in the US versus Canada game, that game was so fast and I very clearly could like see like his speed still stuck out like in that game. I was like he's
Yep.
just kind of in another gear than these guys and so I think he is probably like the guy I was very impressed with him in that first game and he's a guy that I really like playing. He's getting power play time, with them as well with the top unit there. Eichel's on that power play too. And he looks good on there was a couple plays in that game too where Eichel like on the power play like I thought it was gonna like just the way he holds the puck and stuff. I'm like, damn, this guy is so freaking good.
Matthews has to do something too. Like Matthews is doing a Toronto Maple Leaf right now.
Yep.
Not stepping up in the big game. Him and Marner actually. It's kind of funny how bad Marner's looked.
Yeah, but he
But
put that first game away for him.
he did. I mean, that was a shot from like top of the circle. It probably should have been saved, but he he kind of he kind of got like washed out by us on Saturday. Like the physicality bumped up, and
Yeah, I didn't notice him at all.
yeah, he was almost unnoticeable. Reinhardt too. A lot of guys on Canada were
They
just
took a lot of guys out. They
invisible.
did. Yeah. Yeah, they did. They did take a lot of
Who
guys out.
Who is
Matthews was another guy though that, like you said, was kind of like he had some definitely some good plays as far as like keeping possession and things like that, and he's another guy too that he's kind of sneaky good with the back check, and he had
Yeah,
a couple.
he's good on D. I think it's
Yeah,
so funny. I think Elliot Friedman tweeted something about how we should start like appreciating Matthews' defense,
yeah.
and I think a lot of people say that now. So like I think that his defense might be getting a little overrated, but
I don't
but
I don't watch a
everyone
ton
says
of Leafs except for when they play us really, and
yeah,
so it's not really something I was akin
yeah.
to.
He's
And
pretty good.
but
He's pretty
yeah,
good.
it impressed me
Who's
when I
your
was watching it.
if we lose on Thursday, like who besides Nathan McKinnon, 'cause I already said him, and McDavid doesn't count. Who is your Canadian X factor? Like who makes the difference? Like who makes the play?
I think it's kind of a toss up between I think the big difference here is probably going to be Kale McCarr, coming
Hmm.
back, but then also Jordan Bennington. Like I think
Yeah.
Bennington needs to have a game if they're gonna if they're gonna win, because I think this U.S. team is just super motivated. Not that Canada isn't, but Hellebuck's playing good, and Bennington, you're coming in like you already lost the big game. There's a lot of pressure on you. You're essentially on the road now, right? And this was it. Like you already failed once, and Canada's big skepticism was we think we can match them, line wise. Maybe US has a little bit more depth, but can they get it done in net? So I think if Canada's gonna pull off the upset, so to speak, then Bennington's gonna have to have a good game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Bennington should he might steal one for them. I mean, it's not really stealing one with the talent they have, but if he plays like at a Connor Hellebuyck level, this might be going overtime. And you know what, man? I am so afraid that this is going to be a repeat of 2010 because in 2010 when we beat them in the round robin portion of the Olympics, it was like one of the best days in U.S. hockey history. Like we finally beat Canada. Like we never beat Canada before. That was in Vancouver as well. Was 2010 Olympics, and then they play us in the gold medal game, and that's the game that the infamous Crosby goal on Ryan Miller, and Canada wins gold. And I don't want this to be a repeat where we beat them in the game that like doesn't matter, so to speak, and then they win the championship. I'm so afraid that it's going to be like a repeat of that.
Well, what's your prediction then? That's the big reason we did this show tonight. We wanted to make sure we got it in ahead of the
I'm gonna
Four
say
Nations so
I'll give
people
you
can
goal
listen
scorers
and
too.
hear our thoughts and predictions. So,
I'm gonna give you goal scorers as well.
oh man,
I think that the U.S. takes this one 4-2.
okay.
Goals scored by Jack Eichel, Dylan Larkin,
Well, Larkin again,
and two goals by um, Jack Hughes.
an empty
Two
netter.
goals. And the empty netter, yeah. Well, no, Eichel's gonna get the empty netter because he's gonna be out there like defending a lead, doing his thing. So the
Okay.
Canadian on Canada, I think McDavid gets it going again, and I think Crosby gets a goal to make it 3-2 late. And it's like, oh, here comes Cap, here comes Sid the Kid. He's gonna wheel them to victory, and then we snatch it from him.
I like it. I like it. So you're saying we're gonna be up? You're gonna be up three
Oh,
one. Canada's gonna get a goal to make it 3-2, and then
yep,
we're gonna put it away.
yep.
All right, all right. I haven't gone that. I haven't thought about it that in depth here, but
I've been picturing it.
I am gonna
I
predict
also
a
think,
U.S. win.
okay, good, because I also think that we might get our shit pushed in.
No way, dude. That's not happening. I think there's
I'm,
two options. There's two options. Close game. There's three options. Close game and we win. Close game and we lose. Or the U.S. blows them out. I don't think
okay.
there's. I don't.
I like your
I have
confidence.
too much faith in Connor Hellebuck and the way the defense played in the first game for it
Yeah,
to be a blowout the other way. So I think that I'm going to predict a win here, and I think it's going to be a little bit more scoring in this one than the first game, and
okay. What's your score?
I could see like a 5-3 score.
Oh, 5-3. That'd be fun. I mean, this is everyone's gonna be in tune for this game. I think I saw like a record number of people watched this game.
Hmm.
Like I don't have the number in front of me, but like this was like one of the most. This was more watched than like the Stanley Cup final from last
What?
year.
Well, I told you like my dad's somewhat into hockey, but I had people like texting me that usually don't care about hockey,
Yep.
like talking to me about that game. My dad was at dinner with his friends that night and was like, he called me and was like, I heard there was a fight. I got to go home and watch it. I can't wait to come home and watch this game on. And this is a guy who watches the Sabres regularly, but also was not like so into hockey. And he couldn't wait to get home and like turn his TV on right away and sit down and watch this game. People were talking about it. And for the NHL, that is a huge win.
Yep. Yep. And dude, it's so great to have international hockey back for the foreseeable
It's so
future
fun, man.
too. Did you see? I think I might have sent you the text that I think it might have been Pierre LeBrun said that Batman and Bill Daly said that they're going to the Olympics next year in Italy. Is the Olympics in Italy next year?
No, isn't
So
it? It's the U.S., right?
no, I think next year's Italy. But I don't think we have an Olympics for a long time.
Oh, we have a summer Olympics, I think,
Okay,
because it's
yeah.
supposed to be in California.
We have the Italy Olympics. So like times are going to be all wacky with that. Like the games will be on like wacky times, I think. But
Hmm.
after that, we're going to do a World Cup in 2028. So All Star Game is in 27, World Cup in 28, Olympics in 2030, and then another World Cup in 2032. So like for the next, what year is it right now? For the next like 7 years, we're going to be either anticipating international hockey or have an event, which is incredible.
Yeah, yeah, and this is just the start of. I mean, there's obviously a lot of history, but this is the start of kind of the rivalry renewed, right? Because you have
Yes.
these two teams going at it. One of them's going to win, and then when they meet again in a year, if there's at the Olympics, if it is going to be for a gold medal, it's like, all right, like who's going to take it this time? Round two,
Well,
round
this
three
is
type of
great
thing. So this
because
is
I
this will be
actually
awesome.
I kind of I don't think so. Russia won't be allowed to play next year because I think the IIHF already said that like they're not allowed to play. But I kind of have a feeling they're going to be like since the World Cup. I think they said that they're going to expand it to 8 teams. I think Russia will be included in 2028 because they have to be. Like I said it like a million times that like these guys need to be playing. But my larger point is for a long time it was Canada versus Russia at the big stage.
Hmm.
Uh, and then we were kind of like little brother.
Hmm.
But with Russia being washed out of international events, we've kind of taken up that mantle, like with the player development that we've had over the past, I want to say, 10 to 15 years. We're so good that like we're rivaling Canada at every event, from under 17s all the way up to now. So it's pretty cool to see that we're like kind of like taking the mantle of like Canada's big rival.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I think it'll be exciting to see kind of what comes of that, what comes from these some of these other tournaments in the years to come. Hopefully, we can get some more
Can you
Sabers there as we
Can you
go as
imagine?
well.
Can
But
you imagine? 2028 World Cup of Hockey, and it includes like, you know, the Czechs and Yuri Kulik is their number one center because he's so damn good. And on fucking Germany, it's Draisaitl playing with Paterka. Like, dude,
yeah,
that'd be so
Paterka would
cool.
for
It'd
sure
be,
be there.
it'd be,
Yeah,
yeah, he absolutely like
just
they're,
because there's like select, like
yeah.
there's
Germany
like
doesn't have a whole
he's
lot of
obviously a
guys.
good hockey player, but like when you get into some of these other nations, it's like some of these. I mean, like Yoki Hargy playing for Finland. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna get guys there.
yeah. Like it'd be like I think Germany's first line would be like Paterka, Draisaitl, and Stutzla, and they would try to play them for like 30 minutes. So like that's I'm just so excited that international hockey's back because the last Olympics was in Sochi in Russia in 2014, and I
Yep.
remember back then, the game is on at like 7:30 in the morning here, and I'm trying to fucking find it like on a stream because you can't find it anywhere, and it was like it was hard. So like we haven't had like this in so long, and the 2016 World Cup was fun with like that Team North America and stuff, and they had a Team Europe, but like we weren't. Our team was terrible. Like the U.S. team wasn't very good. We were still in the age of we were bringing like legitimate fourth liners to the Olympics like all the time,
Yeah.
and that kind of has changed with like the skill that we bring. So it's just so awesome for USA Hockey. I'm so excited for like what's to come in the future.
Yeah, Four Nations was overall a huge win for the NHL and hockey in general, especially with what transpired the other night. And we're gonna get another game in a couple days here. And for those of you listening, if you're listening before, that's cool. That's why we want to do this show, so we can get you kind of amped up and ready to go for the big game on Thursday night. And if you're listening afterwards, hopefully that you already know that the U.S. got a big win, and
Oh,
uh,
one
we're
more thing on
we're
Four Nations.
celebrating.
One more thing on Four Nations. I'm fully out on trading for Elias Pettersson. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
terrible. Oh my God, what has happened to Elias Pettersson, bro?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but that's what we were talking about last time, where it's like something's just not right, and you're getting the body of work that's like bad hockey starting to equal the body of work that's like good hockey, and it's like maybe this guy's just kind of average and overpaid. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, just would scare. It would. I'd be excited, I think, still, but I just had to get that out there that I'm like a little afraid, and I
Yeah,
don't want to be a part of it anymore.
yeah, yeah. If it happened and it replaced Cousins, like whatever, like
Yep.
try it out.
Obviously
But
upgrade, but
yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna stay on the outside of the fence with that one. But all right, well, with that, let's get into a little bit of Sabres talk here.
how depressing.
The Sabres are set to return to action on Saturday. So they got a little homestand coming up here. So we'll go over the next week. We got 4 games in 7 days starting this Saturday. So Saturday against the Rangers, and you got Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday at home against Anaheim, Thursday away at Carolina, and then back at home Saturday again at Montreal. So you got really a few winnable games there. Not an awful stretch of hockey coming out of the Four Nations. These guys should be nice and well rested. But what are you feeling like? What are your thoughts kind of coming off of the break here and getting ready for some more Sabres hockey?
I feel like watching NHL games after watching this tournament is gonna feel so depressing. It's not gonna be the same.
That's a good
Like
point, honestly.
obviously, like it's gonna be like just I feel like it's gonna just look so slow. And I know that it's like professional players, but it's just gonna be just weird, I think. But, that could also just be me knowing that our team is terrible and like it takes like actual effort to like force yourself to watch games. So, I don't know.
But you don't feel rejuvenated at all?
No, not at all. Like I can't wait for the season to be over, dude. I can't. I need the deadline to be here, and then as soon as the deadline's over, I need the season to like be over. Like that last how many games are left now? 20 something. It should just
Yeah, I'd
be
have to look.
fast forward me to like middle of April already.
I know. Unfortunately, there's not much to look forward to. It will be fun to just start watching some NHL action already. But like you said, it might be a little bit of adjustment because you feel like you're watching in like 2 times speed. Right now with the Four Nations tournament going on. But
I do miss Tage.
I know that's the thing. It'll be fun to watch Tage again. Darlene will be back with the boys, and Greenway is coming back as well. So I think we wanted to kind of touch on him a little bit because he's of course a UFA, so they're going to have to make some decisions on his contract coming up here, and so I guess a big couple months for Greenway as he comes back. His camp and him has kind of mentioned that he's open to returning to the Sabres. It just depends on what the Sabres appetite is for that. I think it's some. I mean, if they're not planning on making many more moves, it seems like a good option to bring him back. We both kind of like what he brings, a little bit of physicality, a little bit of edge, and he's been playing decent, on the wing. So I don't know. What are your thoughts with Greenway here as you're coming back?
We've certainly missed him. Like wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I like Greenway's fine. I like having him in there. He was, I mean, remember at the beginning of the year,
He was a beast.
yeah, that line, who was on that
It
line?
was
It was
Benson
McLeod,
and McLeod.
Greenway. Yeah, that line was our best line to start the season, and then you got injuries and things kind of shuffled around a little bit. But I think Greenway in that third line. I don't like him up in the lineup, obviously,
Yeah,
but is
yeah,
in
right.
like the third line, fourth line. That's fine, and he's a guy you should be able to retain for a similar number like he's at now. I
Yeah.
think he's at like 3 million right now. Like it's not like he's boosted his value beyond that. If anything, it's about the same.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was thinking about this today because I want to bring back him and Zucker, but like at what point do you feel like, oh my God, we're just running it back again? Kind of feeling. And I don't want to do that, but I also
Yeah,
like those two players and I
I
don't
know.
want them to leave. Like I want to retain good players, you know?
Yeah, I don't feel like we'd be running it back if it was those two.
Okay.
If you didn't move Cousins, or if Bryson's playing again, like if there's not other things, then I wouldn't feel like it's running it back. But I think Zucker is obviously a guy who's proven he can be successful here, and he's playing good. He's got chemistry with some of the guys on the top line. If you're bringing back Greenway and Zucker, I'm totally fine with that. But there has to be other moves made.
Yeah, like I think if those two come back, you kind of have to ship out Cousins, maybe even Quinn if you're really feeling a little spicy. And then I know we're like in fourth last, and this is just me putting on my Sabres bias brain, but I think if you did run back like almost the whole forward core, like maybe you swap out Cousins for like an older 2C, like an older veteran center, but then you totally revamp the defense. Like you keep Darlene and Byram together. You give Byram like a short-term deal. You find a legitimate, like good partner for Power to like help him, you know, like help guide him and do like the stuff that he can't do right now as a young player.
Hmm.
And then get like, revamp the bottom pair, like ship out Samuelson, buy him out, whatever, and get like two stable veterans that aren't going to kill you, every
Hmm.
night, like kind of like Samuelson and Clifton and whoever Yoki Haru, whoever they put in there, kind of does.
Yeah, yeah,
I think we could be a playoff team, man. I really do. And it's like so, I feel it's so dumb to feel like we're so close, yet the standings say we're nowhere close, you know?
yeah. Because of that 13 game losing streak, like you said, if you win half those games, you're right where you are. And of course,
Yeah.
you can't make that excuse. But if you look at this season in totality, goal scoring has not been the issue. What's
Yep.
so your point about the forward team is is a good point, because what's cost this team more has been defensive miscues, goaltending, and special teams. So I think if you're looking at what you're going into next season, like you mentioned, you need to revamp some of the defense. Yoki Haru is a guy who can go and be upgraded. Matthias Samuelson is a guy who can be upgraded. If you're going to try and find a better partner for Power, then that's something that everyone's been pounding the table for. Clifton fine, Byram fine, Darlene obviously fine. So you can revamp the defense a little bit, and who knows what you can do at goaltending if Devin Levi can kind of be that backup that can come in and make a little bit of a difference and just make it so UPL doesn't have to be the guy that's starting 55 games, because he's been inconsistent. So you don't know what you're getting there. So goaltending is still something that you might have to address going into next season. The forward moves are going to be critical, because the reason I like Zucker so much is because he's proven to be a difference maker on the power play, and that's an
Yep.
area that struggled for us. So if he's somebody that we can retain, and he gives you an answer for the power play, then that's good. But you need to be able to find, and Greenway's shown ability to obviously penalty kills. So those are guys that can help you on special teams as well, which is what this team needs. So if you're making additions to the forward group and moving a Cousins out, or moving a Quinn out, or moving a Paterka out, or even Tuck, like those are all names we're fine for moving on. Whoever you're acquiring they have to contribute on special teams, I think, to truly upgrade. Like if you're just bringing in another guy that's a top six guy, they could come to Buffalo and fail, just like these other guys have. But if you're bringing them in and there's a purpose for them, all right, you're coming here to play in our top six, but you're gonna provide value on the power play or special teams. Like that's kind of where I think they need to focus.
Yeah. And I guess I will say, like, on paper, I think our roster is a lot better than I want to say, like, at least 20 teams in the league. Like, we have a decent roster. I think we should definitely spend some money at coaching. Like, if
Hmm.
he comes back, let him find, like, his entire staff. Like,
Hmm.
give him free reign to get guys that he's made connections with over the past 40 years to come coach.
Yeah.
Because I think with an upgrade in coaching and like special teams ideas, like you said, a guy that has a creative mind on your power play and can, teach these guys to do like the right thing and put the puck in dangerous areas. Like I think the coaching has been what has let us down like more often than the players.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Yeah,
I
Lindy's
we
got
could
to be
even
able to
just
get his guys. Lindy's going nowhere. He's coming back for next season, and
I
that's
think so
fine.
too. I think so
I'm
too.
I'm fine with that. Let him bring his guys in, shift whatever you have to do from a coaching standpoint. But yeah, I mean the other thing is these guys are young too, and that's not an excuse. I know the excuse coming into this season was we have our guys, but when you think about when you think about age, it does matter. There's a reason why teams that make it to the playoffs and make runs in Stanley Cups aren't as young as the Sabres, and why historically that doesn't work. Because I mean, look at like Jack Quinn, Matthias Samuelson. Look at these all kind of middling guys that we're
Yep,
kind of unhappy with. They're all like 23, 24.
I know.
When I was 23, 24, it's like if someone pissed me off, like I was still immature kid, you know what I mean? So it's like, are we expecting all these young kids just because they're hockey players and have some experience in NHL to not be able to like hear all the outside noise, or like not be able to like handle the pressures of a season without like some older guys in the room? Like it's somewhat unrealistic, and that was their fault by,
Yeah, it's
again,
just
running
Adam's
it
fault.
back with, yeah, exactly. So that's where roster construction and things come in. This is all just to kind of explain where some of the fallacies came in this season, but things that they got to look at, going into to next year for sure. But coaching is probably going to stay the same,
I hope not, dude. Like
at least the head
that-
coach.
that's fine with me. I think I'm fine with Lindy coming back, but if I want him to get his
Appert's probably back,
dude,
or bring up fucking Mike
no,
Leone.
no, dude, we can transition to Amerks talk now if you want because Michael Leone
He's
is
got
a
the mercs
beast of a coach.
playing good.
The Amerks are a freaking wagon, dude. Like, what a year for, it to not be accessible to watch the Amerks
I
on
know, dude.
TV
Freaking
because
flow hockey TV.
I would be all over it, dude.
Yeah,
I'd be all
I
over it.
know. I miss watching them, man. I honestly miss watching them. It's just
They're
way too
electric.
expensive.
Austin has 13 points in the last 14 games. Isaac Roseanne has been incredible. He was at the All Star game, AHL All Star game, and they have like we were saying before, their mix of like younger, like real NHL prospects and AHL veterans is like almost perfect.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
they're
want to see I want to see Nikita Novikov in a Sabres jersey like soon. I want to see him get a little run here because he's
yeah,
been really good down there.
yeah. That's a guy that I mean, I'd rather see him get some. And I like Bryson, but I'd
Yeah,
rather see him just get some run than like Bryson. Like
yeah,
you know what Bryson is. I mean, hell, I'd rather see him over Samuelson. Like,
yeah. Your boy Ryan Johnson.
yeah,
He's got 0 goals in 119 career games.
dude, I still like Ryan Johnson though.
I know that's your guy. That's your guy. You think he's gonna be a
I
stay-at-home guy?
I do like. I mean, let's be fair. How many defensemen really like score goals and stuff? Like, so it's not like it's. I wouldn't need him to do that, but in the little sample we got from him last year, whatever it was, the 40 games or something, I don't know. I felt like he was like kind of
Yeah,
defensively responsible, but
yeah. But
plus he moves the puck good.
yeah, I like him too. I like him. Too. I'm just giving him a little shit because that is pretty funny. But if
Yeah,
we
you
got
figure you just
guys,
get a lucky bounce here or there.
yeah, off a shin pad, like goddamn, off a guy's ass or something. But and Levi's been a fucking tank down there. Like I am. I know I'm like a Levi hater, like low key, just like a Levi kind of
It's
anti-stance.
not low key.
But
You hate the
but
guy.
dude, he's a good AHL goalie right now. Like I think it's just it's frustrating. I think okay, it's not Devin Levi that I don't like. It's the Sabres propping him up to be God's gift to goaltending, when in reality they should have just brought him along like a normal NHL goalie prospect and let him just like stay in the AHL for a couple of years. Like if he's in the AHL next year, I don't even think that's a problem. I think that's totally fine. Like he should get, you know, 3 years down there, like full seasons, and then come up like similar to like Dustin Wolf for Calgary. And look at him, he's one of the best damn goalies in the league.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if they work with him properly, then I'll be back on the Levi train. But for now, I'm still just I'm just
I
skeptical.
mean, he's 23 years old, so
I
like
know
there's
another
there's
child,
no
you know.
yeah, there's no need to rush that. He's not going to be 24 until
Right.
December 27th. So you're looking at, a whole the whole half of this season and off season and the start of next season before he's even, a full year older. I mean, the guy just turned, 24 a few months ago. But Devin Levi right now 16-6-2 with a 2.36 goals against and a .911 save
Yeah,
percentage.
he's
So,
been good.
yep. So that's so Levi's, been playing good. And
How many
then
points does Roseanne have down there?
looking right now, 43 points in 45 games.
Dude, he's been great. He's been
Yeah.
great.
25 goals, 18 assists. 25 goals is nuts, dude.
Yeah, he's gonna hit
That
30.
cool. I
Close.
don't think Kulik got that number ever.
I don't think he did. I don't think he. I think I don't know. I think he did. But
I'm gonna look that up.
Roseanne, I think like finally this year, I think he can. If like that could be a guy next
Kulik had
year.
24 goals in 22-23, 27 goals
Wow.
in
Yeah. So
23-24. That was
Roseanne's
in
gonna have.
62 and 57 games played. They only played
Okay.
72 down there.
Yeah. He missed a couple, but
Yeah.
Roseanne's gonna hit 30 this year, and
Yep.
I I still like him as a potential saber, like as a third liner that can play on the power play. But I
Hmm.
also like him as a guy we can trade to get an NHL body.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because let's think about like, okay, the Sabres, they're in fourth right now, fourth last right now. I don't want them to win the lottery because the number one overall pick is a left shot defenseman, and we have 7,000 of those already.
Hmm.
And if they pick in the 2 through 4 range, that's like your Michael Misa, who Michael Misa is shattering like points records in the OHL right now. He didn't make Team Canada at the World Juniors, and you saw that they kind of paid for that because they didn't even medal. So it's him, it's James Hagens. I want to pick like in the top 4 somewhere. Basically, is what I'm saying. Just not first.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care. I want to see the Sabres win games. I don't want to see them win, too many games. But then, man,
At this point, you might as well not.
I'm down to go to another Amerks playoff game.
Oh, we're going for sure. We're going for sure. I'm just looking to see, some stats on some of these other guys like Hellenius. I'm sure everyone's interested in him. 42 games played. He's got 20.7 goals, 13 assists. Um,
As an 18-year-old, that's pretty damn good.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Neuchev, we both like
Yeah.
Neuchev. He's got 22 points, 38 games, 7-15. Wahlberg's got 8 and 12 for
Yep.
20. Kozak's been kind of up and
Dude,
down. But
actually, we got to talk about Tyson Kozak. Did you happen to see like the article that came out about him? Like
no.
some quotes from Vinny Prospel down there?
Mm-mm.
He basically was saying that Kozak has to shit or get off the pot. It was crazy. He's
With the
basically
Sabres.
saying, yeah. He was basically saying
He
like
kind of
this
has.
guy.
I mean, he's been fine.
He was basically like just saying like crazy from an assistant coach. Like I kind of liked it, like kind of calling him out. And it was like, hey, like if you want to be at the NHL level and stay there, like you kind of have to like kick it up a notch here and make them like call you up and never send you back down kind of thing. And I liked that from Vinny there. That was
Yeah.
pretty nice quotes about like a guy that we saw play some NHL games this year.
He's only 23 as well.
Yeah, they're all young. I mean, they're good. They're a good fast young team with a
Yeah.
nice mix of veterans.
The thing is like, okay, so while we're kind of on the Amherst here, right? Like Roseanne has shown a ton of promise, and Kozak is a guy who got the call up, but in I feel like Kozak has shown me more in his time than Roseanne has,
Yeah,
at least up with the big club. Like Kulik's, he's full time NHL now. Like he's up to stay, obviously, and he's been playing good. But Roseanne was kind of that next guy, and he's producing like a shit ton. But if anything, like he's kind of the guy that I would say that same thing about is like, dude, same thing. Like when you get called up, like he's played a few games for the Sabres this year, and he hasn't been super impactful. He hasn't been
Right.
getting a lot of ice time,
He
but
even got he even got top line minutes that one game.
yeah, and he's so to me when he comes up, he just kind of looks out of place and not ready for it. I'm just waiting for him to kind of like take it. Whereas like Kozak when he comes up, I don't know, like I've just seen more from him, like grittiness, like hitting guys. Like he scored at least one goal. He got the one goal taken away from him, so like he goes to the front of the net. Like I don't know, I'm just it's kind of an interesting thing, but I could just see kind of that kind of shit or get off the pot thing kind of applying to both of them.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But those are the two guys that are probably the next, right? As far as
Yeah,
like
like
coming up.
I mean, Wahlberg's still only like he just played in the friggin' World Juniors. Like he's still only, 19 years old. Neuchev, I think, is 20 years old. Hellenius like is 18 years old. Like a lot of these guys are still like under 20. Like we got them in the organization early.
Yeah.
So it's they're a little bit longer ways away, but hey, we're still have high hopes for them.
Yeah, for sure. Which is even crazy to think about what Benson did, just coming in and just like earning a role right away. He's
Yeah,
about
right.
to like finish his second full season in the NHL. Like it's just crazy. Like we can't go a whole show without bringing Zach Benson up. That man is just so awesome.
I'm sad that he's buried on the fourth line, but if you like look at the Sabres' current roster construction, it's either you put Benson on the fourth line or you put Zucker on the fourth line, and you kind of can't put Jason Zucker on the fourth line right now,
Yeah.
only for the fact that like if they do trade him, they kind of do have to like showcase him a little bit. So I feel bad for Zachary over there, but I mean he's
But
still a
Greenway coming
wrecking
back
ball.
could give him a boost. Like he could
Yeah,
potentially be playing with Greenway here. We'll see what the lines look like when we get back to action here
I
on
think
Saturday. But
I think they had practice today.
yeah, they did have practice today, but I didn't. I actually have the article up now. I don't know if they have the lines in there, but it's kind of yeah. I didn't
Yeah,
see.
without finding it, I did see him earlier, but I can't find it like quickly.
Yeah,
But we'll see how it goes. I mean, okay, now that we're talking about it, I am kind of a little bit excited to watch, some Sabres hockey when they come back.
but honestly, what made me so excited? What I guess what I'm even more excited about watching this Four Nations is just like for playoff hockey to start.
Yeah, me too. It's going to
Because
be awesome,
we'll
as
do the
always.
bracket again this year. Hopefully, we
Yep,
get some people in it again this year, maybe even a little bit more, which would be cool. But that's always fun to kind of talk about. But yeah, I can't wait for playoff hockey this year.
me too.
Sabres, unfortunately, will be golfing. But
Their favorite thing to do.
all right, man. We got anything else hockey wise?
No, so I can't think of a goofball. I have literally been sitting here for an hour and 10 minutes looking for a goofball in my head. I can't find one, so let me hear yours.
I got a goofball for you, and we'll end the show on this. It's a football goofball.
Okay,
My goofball
I got one
is
now too.
my football goofball is the New York Football Giants. This team is in such disarray that they decided for themselves that Saquon Barkley was not a part of their future. So let's just get rid of him, not sign him to an extension, and then what does he do? He just goes on to win the offensive player of the year in the NFL and a Super Bowl. And I'm just thinking to myself,
With their
this
rival
team,
too. That's the funny part.
Joe Shane is does not know what he's doing. He has not been GMing good. Brian Dayball is an awful head coach. They're just that organization is just in shambles. They got the I think the third pick in this upcoming
Yep.
draft, so we'll see what they do with that. But
Yeah,
it's not even like a worthy. There's not even like a worthy quarterback, So it's like,
they might end up with either Cam Ward from Miami or, if they roll the dice on Shadur Sanders, but
oh
that
my
comes with
god,
baggage,
dude,
dude.
don't
That
do
comes
that.
that comes with
Yeah.
baggage.
Oh
Can you
my god,
imagine
no.
Dion hovering over that organization as
Yeah.
as like fragile as it already is? Like, oh my goodness. Like
It's like
like I
it's
felt
like
like Sanders needs to go to like the Raiders where like they have Tom Brady in the organization now
yeah.
and they kind of have like they're bad, but I feel like they're on the ups a little bit. Like they have a little bit of stability.
I mean, they got Brock Bowers.
The fucking Giants would just be a terrible spot for them. You're right. That is an organization in disarray.
They got to get just like a vet in there just to like make the fan base happy and make neighbors happy until they can get some, I don't know, But that's the thing. It's like if you get a vet in there, like
Then they
maybe
win too many
you're,
games.
yeah, then you win too many games. It's like, oh man, that's like you get like, I'm so thankful we have Allen because that was us for like 25 years.
Dude, I know. Like I haven't thought. Like obviously, I'm a college football fan, but the fact that like we've gone 8 drafts now, or like is it 8 drafts this year when we draft Allen 18? So 7 drafts in a row now this year where I haven't even had to think about quarterbacks.
I know it's so
That is
nice,
just amazing.
so
But
nice.
I got a goofball for you too. Matthew Stafford's wife, Kelly
Oh,
Stafford.
I don't know where this is going.
Kelly Stafford, dude, she is a bit of a shit talker on her podcast. And, she's obviously going to stick up
What's
for
it
her
called?
husband. I'm not really sure. But she kind of just talks a lot of shit for being an athlete's wife. Like, I kind of, so Matthew Stafford, he's a legend. I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is old, and LA is kind of in like a transitional phase where, like, yes, they made the playoffs and everything, but they might want to move on from him, you know? And she is just kind of
Makes
like
sense.
popping off on social media and on our podcast about how, the Rams aren't loyal and all this stuff.
They aren't,
Yeah.
so
And
they're
in my
definitely
head,
moving on if she's saying that shit.
I'm like, don't you kind of think you should like handle this behind the scenes a little
Unless
bit?
she's reacting to the Cooper Cup stuff, I don't know.
That too, like like she was talking about that too, like saying that, you know, they're look at what these players did for the Rams, like winning a Super Bowl, and this is how they're going to treat them, kind of thing. But it's like, if you're old, man. Like I know Stafford still has game, but he looked brutal at the end of the year.
Yeah,
And I get that's her husband and she's gonna stick up for him and stuff, but like I think if I was Matthew Stafford, I wouldn't want like my wife, popping off on the organization on social media. So she's my goofball this week.
so I think that means he's definitely not coming back.
I did just see Sleeper just sent me a notification that if Matthew Stafford does move on, that they're gonna pursue Aaron Rodgers.
Really, I would have thought Darnold.
I think that
You think he's gonna get
what
tagged by Minnesota,
what
but they're
what
going to JJ.
yeah, what does Minnesota do with Sam Darnold? Like
They're,
he was pretty good for them, and JJ is not a guarantee. You
but
know,
I think they want. I think they're definitely moving to JJ McCarthy, and you can't franchise tag Sam Darnold and have him be your backup.
I know because the franchise tag is like 37 million.
Yeah, so you can't do that. And but I don't think they're gonna do it, man. I think Darnold's just gonna go to free agency, and I mean, there's teams that need him. I mean, he could be a Raider. I mean, you got the Raiders,
You know who
you
I
got the
like.
Giants. I mean, shit.
You know who I like for Sam Darnold? The New York Jets going back home.
Yeah, I know you can't though. You cannot.
I like that we've had a little football talk at the end here. Like
They're
it's
another.
great.
They're another team. Yeah, I don't know,
They're the
man.
Sabres. They're the Sabres of the NFL.
They are the Sabers. They are the Sabers. I'm just so glad. Like Aaron Rodgers set them back for like another 5 years. So
I know it's
that was
awesome.
the best thing about Aaron Rodgers going there. I can't believe he's gonna play again, dude. He just needs to
He
go away.
he needs to go away, dude. He needs to go. He needs to go away. Oh my god.
He just needs to go away. Oh my gosh.
He needs to go away and do all like the hallucinogenic drugs that he wants and just do your little appearances on Pat McAfee and call it a career, dude.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up today, right? Unless you got anything else.
I got nothing, man. This was a nice hour and 13 minutes. Let's go. A nice
Yeah, this
long
was
one here.
nice. We had bare bones of a script. We were just kind of like, let's just hop on and see where it takes us. And
Yeah, we riffed a lot. I like that. And we're just go USA. Let's go.
yes, USA, USA. So if you're listening, you know what to do. Check out the socials. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube if you want to watch over there. If you got questions for the show, reach out to us or email us. All that's in the show notes below. But other than that, we're going to get out of here and root for the United States to beat the pants off the Canadians on Thursday. I'll be at Duff's in Depew. If anyone is out and about and wants to head to Duff's, that's where I'll be watching the game with some buddies. And I know, Ryan, you're planning to watch it at home on Thursday, but we'll be tuned in and dial it in for sure. So everybody that's watching, enjoy the game and stay safe in the Sabrehood. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
See ya.
Later.